Good afternoon.
My fellow Americans
and world leaders, welcome
to the home stretch
with Andrew Zucker, Eric Fischetti,
Kyle McKay,
KJ Brooks, and football picks champion Cameron Bonagura.
Almost $700 billion.
Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Enjoy.
And welcome to another edition of the home stretch here on 90.3 WHPC. My name's Andrew Zucker, and alongside me this evening, Eric Fischetti, KJ Brooks.
That's me.
Kyle McKay.
What's up?
And football picks champion Cameron Bonagura.
What's going on, people?
Now, before we start off the show, I'd just like to wish a congratulations to Notre Dame women's basketball team on their amazing and insane run throughout the Women's March Madness tournament, and in specific, Arike Ogunbowale. She, I think, right now, if you were to look up the definition of legend in the dictionary, her face would be right there.
How about clutch?
Legend.
Why legend?
Legend.
Why?
Let's see. 2 straight games. Not only did she beat Gino Ariomi and UConn, and we mentioned this last week, possibly the greatest run in any sport with the UConn women's basketball. She beat them on a buzzer beater, but then she won the national title game on a buzzer beater. 2 straight games, 2 straight buzzer beaters. This girl is a legend. And when asked, how did you do this? She said, Mamba mentality.
Well, another reason of how she did it, she just shot the ball. It was a great shot. What wasn't she?
She was terrible
double-teamed.
She was also terrible for the whole game up until that
Look,
point.
She scored 18 points yesterday on, I believe, 21 shots.
She was missing easy stuff, and
she took 21 shots, but that's still legendary.
No, yeah, the
game-winning shot.
I watched that shot go up. I'm like, that's going in. As soon as she let it go, I was like, that's it. She's going to do it again, and I was astonished by watching.
2 straight games. This girl absolutely just
dominated.
It's legendary. And no, she didn't even... That's the thing. Like Kyle just said, she didn't dominate yesterday's game. She dominated the game in UConn, but she not only just come up in the clutch, like you said, and it's legendary. That's literally what it is. This will go down for years to come. This will never be taken away from her, that's for sure.
I agree with the legendary based on just the fact that she took down the mighty UConn. Like you said last week, we said they're probably one of the top 3 teams just in college history.
One of the best college programs.
Yeah,
I think the best college program.
And she took them down with 1 shot. Now, it's back-to-back years that they lost that the same way, but hey, it's still legendary to then follow it up and win the championship the next week.
It's crazy.
Next game.
This is 2 years in a row where UConn isn't winning the national title.
But that's also good for the NCAA women's.
It is.
Because they're catching up now.
They're not catching up, that's the thing.
Sure they are. They're catching up. If you can take down UConn, you can catch up in any way you can.
When I think of catching up, I think of catching up in number of titles,
being as dominant.
And it's insanely hard to catch up to the number of titles that UConn has, and Gino Ariomi and his 11 alone. That's insanely hard. You can say talent-wise, they might be catching up.
That's what I'm referring to.
But I can't even call it an off year for UConn women because they're still probably going to have 3, 4, maybe even 5 girls drafted in the first round of the WNBA draft. That's just what it is. That's just how. Oh God. My dad texted me, he's like, not legendary, it's legend, wait for it, dairy. No, it's not that legendary.
Wait for it, I hope you're not lactose intolerant, because the next part of this word is dairy.
Yeah, like Marvin, wait
awesome.
Marvin, wait for it, Erickson, stuff like that. But UConn is they're still going to have a lot of draft picks in this upcoming WNBA draft. They're still a great franchise. I like to call them a franchise. I don't like to call them a school. I call them a franchise. Because they have players, they don't have one and dones. They have 3 years, 4 years. They have players that return and come back for a 4th year. Breanna Stewart, Maya Moore, that's just 2 people to name who dominated in college and then went on or are still dominating in the WNBA, and they were 4-year players. Breanna Stewart won national title 4 years in a row at UConn. She won most outstanding player 3 times.
Well, look, it's actually kind of interesting that you bring up that point because, like you said, they don't have one and dones. And you know what? I feel like that's...
The chemistry is amazing.
Not only chemistry, it's something that I feel like is overlooked for a lot of schools. Like, for instance, Kentucky and Duke are well known, I'm talking about the men's basketball, are basically known for their one and dones. And
John Calipari, just to point out, John Calipari loves the one and done thing. Mike Krzyzewski has publicly stated I'm not a one and done school. It just so happens to be nowadays that that's who's going to play for him. But Mike Krzyzewski likes to build those long-term relationships and work with players for long periods of time. John Calipari is like, yeah, it's a business. I'm pumping them out.
Right, but the only thing that I can think of not being a one and done from either one of them, obviously comes to my mind is Grayson Allen. He's been there for all 4 years. Whether you like him or hate him, it's true. He's been there.
But like
for
I
all
mentioned
4
last
years.
week, his value was never higher than after winning that national title.
When? In 2015?
After his rookie
I agree
year.
with you. I agree with
After
you.
his freshman year, his value was never higher. He could have.
He also had a really great team around him.
He also had a really great national title game. He could have not even snuck in. He would have been like a early to mid 20s pick, right around where Tyus Jones went. Tyus Jones went, I believe, at 25. Grayson Allen, with the national title game performance, could have snuck in front of Tyus Jones.
I think so.
Nowadays, they're projecting him 40 to 45.
Come on up to Boston.
Is he going to declare?
Grayson Allen?
I haven't seen anything from him.
He
I
has to
haven't seen
declare.
anything
Oh, he
yet.
did?
He did?
No, he has to declare unless he wants to be a graduate transfer, because he's graduating. It's 4 years.
I know.
There's only one way. Actually, there's more than one way, but the only logical way, because it's not like he can't apply for an injury waiver because he played the entire year. The only way he could immediately play at another school and continue on, which I don't know why he'd want to, would be if he wouldn't be able to do it at Duke. He'd have to transfer. Is if you say you want to get a master's degree.
Okay.
So it's called a graduate transfer. You want to get a master's degree, you transfer to another school that offers a master's degree that your current school does not offer. And you're granted an extra year of eligibility, and you can play immediately.
I don't think he should do that.
No, he should.
I really don't think. Look, if he declares, I'm not saying he's going to be the greatest player of all time, but I feel like there's a spot for him in the NBA.
If he were to come back next year, it would be like Perry Ellis, the center out of Kansas, who we kept joking for the longest time. I actually saw at the beginning of the tournament this year, someone was like, oh, look who's strutting out as the center for Kansas. It's Perry Ellis. I'm like, dude, he graduated in 2014. He goes, really? Perry Ellis has been there for many, many years. And it's true. This is not the Perry Ellis, the clothing company. This is Perry Ellis, the 7-foot center for Kansas. He was there, I think, 5 years, but it felt like 45 years. Grayson Allen, if he comes back for another year, it's just,
I don't even know if that helps your draft stock coming back.
I don't think it
for a
would.
fifth year.
no,
like,
for
it's
certain,
gonna hurt it.
for certain people it does.
Maybe, yeah, you really have to show up and
For
like,
certain
play great
people, it
to
goes.
get it to work
Some
for
people,
you.
they're going to go undrafted, and they're like, you know what? I'm not even the players. Not always.
That's what happened to Marshall Plumlee.
Very few players are like, yeah, I'm not going to make it in this draft. Let's see if I can be a graduate transfer and try and come back. And since I don't really have to go to class, because the first semester, by the second semester, they don't really care anymore, because that's when you get to the tournament. First semester, yeah, whatever, barely go to class, but put your effort into it, and maybe I can become a second-round draft pick. Nigel Goss Williams, Gonzaga. Last year's Gonzaga team was made up of transfers and graduate transfers, and one and done with Zach Collins. And look where they went. They only lost by 6 in the national title game.
Pretty sure you're very happy about that, though.
Oh, I was ecstatic. I have a video on my computer of the final seconds, and it actually my computer cut out for a second. I was like, no, what's going on? I need to see it happen live. Oh, man. But speaking of the national title game,
It's going to be a fun one tonight.
tonight's game is going to be a very interesting game. Villanova hit a record 18 threes in the Final Four against Kansas. They demolished Kansas. And this is not a bad Kansas team. This is a Kansas team that last week we were talking about was great, and how Malik Newman wiped the floor with Duke in that OT. Malik Newman literally alone carried Kansas versus Duke. Absolutely amazing. And then all of a sudden, Kansas comes out and
They laid an egg.
They're really slow. Kansas really, I can't say they caught up, but they were trying to catch up at the end. It just didn't work out for them. Villanova coast to the win. 18 threes. They were on. Now, people might say, oh, they only shot I believe it was 42 or 43%. Some people
Only.
No, some people can say, oh, you see it in the NBA all the time. Why is a 40% three-point shooter so great? Think about it. You know how many shots you put up to hit 2 out of every 5 is still a lot, especially from something that distance with hands up in your face. For a team
And these are kids,
to
too.
go 40, 42, 43% to make 18 out of that's great.
That's also a lot of open looks from three. Like, Kansas really didn't press anything on that one.
Oh, no, Kansas couldn't
give
guard
them
the
that many. They weren't put
even,
up that many to still hit 40%.
They weren't even. Most of them were not even open looks. Villanova was for lack of a better word, ballsy. They're saying, yeah, you're covering us, and we're still going to put up these shots because we still think that we can hit them, and we know we can hit them. It wasn't. Look back, most of them weren't open shots. Yeah, you always have the transition three.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, it's like a staple of college because Steph Curry does it in the NBA. So all the players are like, yeah, we're going to do that now. But transition threes, yeah, they're a big thing. In college, you don't want to do it as much. In college, if you have that open bucket, you want to take it because you want to show, you want to score the points, you want the credit for it, and you don't want your coach to pull you out of the game. So you go for that transition bucket. You don't go for the transition three.
Yeah.
NBA players are like, okay, we're already here. We have our money.
Time to put on a show.
Yeah, worst thing that happens, they pull me out for a couple minutes. We can.
And then I go back in.
Yeah, I go right back in. In college, you don't do that. So most of their threes were not wide open threes. They had guys in their face, and they
even their coach came out and said after the game, he's like, sometimes you put them up and nothing goes in, but this game, everything seemed to be going in, and it was really favoring us. So
they shine.
Even they were almost surprised at how well they did.
They shine.
Yeah, but Kansas did not do a good job of guarding the three.
No, Kansas didn't do a good job guarding the three. They should have done what Duke did at one point. They should have done a 4-1 because college doesn't have three in the key.
Right.
You can play zone. It's not the NBA. NBA, you have three in the key. That's it. That's a technical foul.
It is not going to be easy for Villanova to put up threes like that. Michigan can guard the three so much better.
Michigan can guard the three, but Villanova has a better coach, in my opinion. Jay Wright, I said it last week.
Very underrated coach.
Jay Wright is not underrated at this point.
Yes, he is. He is.
Not at this point. Not after winning a national title 2 years ago.
Sure he is. When you think of top 5 coaches, maybe you're the exception, but a lot of people don't say Jay Wright. A lot of people put Coach K.
5.
Right, but don't you think that he is? Honestly, do you think that Jay Wright can be top 5 in college basketball?
Yeah.
Okay.
John Calipari.
Coach K. Jim Boeheim.
But
Roy Williams.
Jim Boeheim's on his way out of that top 5.
I understand that, which is perfect in for Jay Wright. Even
Roy
Bill
Williams.
Self.
Bill Self, in my opinion, is in their
top 3.
No. He's in there in front of Jay Wright. I wouldn't call him underrated, but he's still top 7.
Okay, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that I don't think Villanova, especially Jay Wright, gets the recognition that he deserves. Especially if they win. No, I'm serious. If Villanova wins tonight, Jay Wright is probably going to be in the top 3 of best coaches in college basketball today.
I said it last week. In my opinion, when Villanova wins tonight, Jay Wright has at least numerous offers that are going to come from the NBA.
But do you think he would leave?
At this point, no.
Yeah, I really can't see him leave because he's got something good going in Villanova.
He's got something good. He does have what most likely, depending on the game, although it's most likely not going to happen, he's going to have players leave after the game.
Oh, sure. Bridges is a perfect example.
Brunson, they're going to leave. Depending on if he wants to follow and go to the NBA, if they win, and in my opinion, when they win tonight, he already has essentially an open check from the NBA.
Why are you so quick to write off Michigan, though?
I sleep on Michigan.
I'm not even sleeping on Michigan. I just think Villanova.
Yeah, Villanova's the better team. I
slept on Villanova 2 years ago.
I understand that. I
slept on Villanova when I'm a huge UNC fan, and I was following from 6,000 miles away, and I was still trying to follow as much as possible, and I completely slept on Ryan Arcidiacono and Chris Jenkins. Completely slept on them. I'm like, there's no way Villanova makes it past Sweet 16. I'm like, no way.
Spoiler.
Villanova makes it all the way to the national title game. I was like, this is Roy Williams. They got this. Bryce Johnson, Marcus Page, he's got this, all right? There's no way Marcus Page is going to leave college without winning a national title. Bryce Johnson, dominant power forward. They have this in the bag.
You talking about North Carolina?
Yeah, two years ago.
Wasn't Isaiah Hicks there also?
Isaiah Hicks, name them, they were there.
I'm just asking, I don't know.
No, they were stacked. It's there's no way they lose this game versus Villanova. This is an underrated Villanova. It's Jay Wright and Villanova. And then that game, it was,
it's Jay Wright and Villanova.
Wow.
They're better than I thought.
okay, it's Jay Wright and Villanova. Like, yeah, I don't sleep on Villanova anymore. I really, honestly think Villanova. Look, right now, the spread originally when the game was when both teams won, the spread opened up at 6.